Assalamu alaikum and good evening, listeners. Today on Radio Azad, we are honored to welcome Mujib Qazi Sahab, the esteemed chairman of the Crescent Charity Foundation, commonly known as TCCF. Founded with a mission to empower and uplift the less fortunate, TCCF has been a beacon of hope, providing essential services to those in need. And today we delve into the heart of the Noble Foundation and discover how it has been changing lives for people. Assalamu alaikum, Mujib Saab. How are you?
Walaikum salam, and thank you for having me. Alhamdulillah.
So, Mujib Saab, could you share with us the history and the mission of Crescent Charity Foundation?
Well, it started off from at the demise of my late father. He has donated a piece of land that we initially devoted it for people to come offer congregational prayers. But one fine morning, we noticed that it was raining and people couldn't offer their prayers. So we were asked if we could build a small mosque there so people can offer, because it sits in the remote area of Kashmir.
Right.
And then we, built a mosque, and then turned out there was no school for girls in the area. So we built a school for the girls, and then turned out there was no urgent care hospital or any facility that can treat patients with acute diseases or even minor diseases. So we end up building a hospital. So this is how it all started. And today, Alhamdulillah, we have our network of schools that spends
MashaAllah.
about reaching about 20,000 people in their area. We have a little over 700 students, underprivileged students, girls, boys. The education is 100% absolutely for free. And that's how it started. So then obviously our horizon kind of expand into four different categories. We take very proud of our effort that education is one area that we have been heavily focusing on. Then providing them with the food pantry is one of our hallmark, where we provide food rations every
MashaAllah.
month. Yeah, every month. And then obviously urgent care, the basic needs. And then we have a clean water project that we provide with the hand pump in the remote area, flood affected areas that have the water resource, but people don't have the resources to dig that water out and have the clean drinking water. So those are the four main areas, besides some other areas that we work on.
So that's a great segue for me to actually go into the next question, which was the major services, major areas of service for you that is provided by your organization. You said there are other areas too. I would, if you could give some information on that too. You already mentioned about the main areas, the major areas about that. Yeah, that'll be very informational as well for our viewers.
So the other areas, our sustainable model is something that we are absolutely committed to it, where rather than providing them with the monthly subsidized food or what have you, but what we are focused on is to providing them with the sustainable business model, such as we have people who have a piece of land and they can grow their own livestock. So we buy them livestock and have them, excuse me, have them grow and
Wow,
multiply it. And
mashallah.
then if somebody who is able to run a shop, so we open up a shop, or maybe provide them with a rickshaw, or we have done, you know, we have bought people a dozen hens, for example, and then they multiplied it. They start selling hens and the eggs and what have you. And then we have had people who were provided with a small shop, and now they have a businesses that they can, in return, support further other people. And then we have orchard sustainability,
Wow,
where we provide people with fruit trees, and
that is amazing.
they grow their orchard, and then they make the living out of fruits. So it all depends what can you do beside just relying on our support. And those kind of sustainable models are the one that we promote the most. And then we also have a vocational institute under our organization name. So we give them the 6 months of crash courses
Okay.
where we girls can gain the skills of stitching, and then we provide them with the machine, and then they can go on and start making their own livings. So these are some of the areas that we work on. But
Services. Okay.
yeah, and that's not limited to what we are doing. Let's say if somebody who has a skill of doing things such as he is a good plumber, for example, but he doesn't have tools to provide his services. So we provide them with those tools. Initial investment is ours, and then they in career. And somebody who is an electrician, but he has the skill to do it, but doesn't have the tools to carry out his job. So we provide those small but sustainable projects.
That is great to hear from you that basically it's you provide as much to basically give a head start to people. And when you talk about this, Mujib Saab, is there any particular target population that you have in mind, or how do you tailor your services to meet their needs?
So obviously, we try to target the disaster struck areas.
Okay.
In earthquake of 2005 has shook us all up because I lost
Right.
46 members of my family. So they were
Oh,
displaced. That's how it started, actually. And then recent flood in South Punjab and in North Sindh has affected 3 million people were displaced. So those are the areas. And then obviously there is we have a list of 14,000 orphans. So every years we try to adopt about 26 to 27 orphans, and then we work with local organization to provide them with the boarding, lodging, and their education. And that the commitment is that we they will be until they become a professional. So that's how we. There's no specific area, but over right now it just so happened because the earthquake struck in Kashmir, so we end up investing most of our time in Kashmir, and then our attention was shifted to northern Sindh and southern Punjab, in
Punjab.
certain area, yeah, southern Punjab in Pakistan, and then our hallmark program, which we have vested in the U.S. is community development. So that is another thing that we do locally. What we do is we work with the Fortune 500 companies. We bring their professionals who are volunteers. They come and they give us the skills that is needed in the job market. And the people who have been jobless for the last month or so, and then we bring them in, we give them a certification of 2 3 months for free, and then they go and apply jobs where the jobs are available. So that's what we do here in the US. So there's no particular area that I would say, but it just
Okay.
so happened where the need arises, we go there.
That is really good to know. And can you highlight, Mujib Saab, some of the major accomplishments TCCF or Crescent Charity Foundation has achieved over the last year?
Our
Any
I,
achievements?
I I think our biggest achievement was we were in a area where we had a high school has a 500 girls, and they were sitting on the floor, literally in the dirt under the trees for their education. And we were asked that if we can provide them with the dwellings that can provide them at least two classrooms where they can go inside for especially the older girls, who are in high school,
Right,
and the freshmen in the second grade.
right.
So we undertook that project, and within 3 months we were able to provide them with the four classrooms rather than two in a record time of 3 months. That was,
Whoa,
and
mashallah.
now they have about over 500 girls that go to school. And because of our contribution, the government has elevated the rank of a higher secondary to a degree college now. So that is
Amazing.
one thing. So, and obviously we have, you know, four schools that we have established where they're fully functional, and more to come. Because, in Kashmir, you see, you have a
Right.
lots of ghost school where you have a
Yes, yes.
school, you have schools, but there's no teacher. You have teacher, but
There's no
there's no
teachers.
develop. Yeah.
Right.
So we're trying to fill in the gaps wherever it is.
That is really nice. And with this year in Ramadan is here. What is TCCF's appeal to the community this year, especially?
This year appeal is that at this time, if you look at the condition in Pakistan and Kashmir, there is a dire need of very basic food, nutrition, and clean water. And there are people who are in a status that they were on the upper hand. Here they were on the giving side. They are on the receiving end at this time because of the inflation, because of the circumstances that have dictated
Right.
in the country. People are requesting that you take anything that you have from us, but give us a meal for 2 times a day. And the family of three, family of four. So our demand for the supplying a ration has tripled this time. So I think for us to be able to help those people in the month of Ramadan when we are enjoying our lavishing meal at iftar here in the
Right.
US, let's not forget those who don't even have a piece of date to open their breakfast. So that's what my appeal is, that if you can afford to adopt a child who is an orphan, the total cost is $200 for the whole year. And if you can
Okay.
afford to provide a clean drinking water, the total cost of a hand pump that can they provide water to a family of 5 and 10 and livestock is $125. And if you want to sponsor a meal for a family for the whole month, it's like $75. So those are the short-term goals that we have, that we
Hmm.
want to achieve in this month of Ramadan. And at the end of the day, anything, even a dollar goes a long way for these people.
Okay.
So I urge all our listeners and the viewers who are watching us that this is the time that let's not forget, when we all know the reward multiplies in month of Ramadan, it goes into multifolds.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes, it does.
and we need to realize that we are very fortunate and blessed to be in this country. And let's not forget those who are less fortunate.
Yes, I 100% agree. And to all our listeners, that was basically my next question as well. What you just mentioned about how our listeners that are eager to contribute, how can they donate to CSF, to the Crescent Charity Foundation? And you've given them ways, different kinds of contributions that they can make, whether it's through water, through adoption, through dollars, through cash, however they feel like it. Any kind of donation, any kind of help is absolutely appreciated. Lastly, what I like to know is, Mujib Saab, is could you provide the contact information and also donation information for our listeners who wish to get involved in charity?
Sure, sure. They can use any mode of payment to send us the money. It's a 501(c)(3) registered non-profit organization here in the US. You can pay by Zelle. The email is thecrescentf@gmail.com. thecrescentf@gmail.com. You can use that email, or you can send it via phone numbers 817-690-2671. You can do that, or you can go on our website, thecrescentfoundation.org, and has all the links up there to make a donation. And I'm going to provide it to you, and so you can put it in your link as well, so the people can have ease of paying it
Absolutely.
whenever they feel like. Thank you.
Please.
I just want our listeners to know that our organization has a zero admin cost. Your
Great.
donation that comes out, if let's say you donate $100, 100% of the $100 goes to the end users. We don't have a staff, all volunteers. They all work very passionately. None of them gets paid. So we do pay to our teachers and the doctors who serve on the ground, and obviously the staff who keep the upkeep of the facilities. But as per se, the admin cost, the travel cost, or the luncheon cost, none whatsoever. It's 100% goes to the end user. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mujib Saab, for sharing such insightful information about the Crescent Charity Foundation and its impactful work. To our listeners, I would like to say that this Ramadan, it's an opportunity to make a difference, right? Let's support the wonderful initiatives of TCCF. Remember, every little bit helps, and your contribution can bring light to someone's life. And don't forget to reach out through the contact details provided by Mujib Qadhi Sahab himself in this interview and make your donations count. Thank you again for listeners for tuning in. Thank you, Mujib Sahab, for giving us time for this interview. And let's continue to spread kindness and compassion in this holy month. Till then, thank you so much, Mujib Sahab, once again.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.